Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2020 Toyota Highlander, we're going to be checking out the Swagman XC2 platform style bike rack. First impression of the rack in the back of our Highlander, I think it looks super simple and it's pretty compact, don't take up a bunch of space. So honestly, if I was someone who just rode every now and again, this would probably be a pretty good choice. You know, it stores up, very compact, don't take up a whole lot of space when you're keeping it in your garage or whatever. So it's an efficient way to get your bikes to and from the trails. With that said though, it is going to hold up to a total of 2 bikes. And the way it's going to do it is by using this frame hook here. So this is going to apply pressure down on the wheels and keep everything stable. And believe it or not, it works pretty good. I mean, if you shake this around, the bike isn't loose. It's actually moving the whole rack, which is very typical. You're going to see that in pretty much any bike rack. So it does a pretty good job at that. With that said though, be careful what type of frame you got. If you happen to have like a carbon frame bike, might not be the best option since you obviously don't want pressure on that. One that would hold it down by the wheels would probably be a better option. But majority of you checking this one out probably ain't gonna have a carbon frame bike, so not really a big deal there. The way this comes off, you're gonna have this button here you can push at, and this ratchets up. And everyone kind of has their own way of doing it. Some people just kind of work the bike off. I like to actually take this off completely and just kind of set it out of the way. And this folds down too, which we'll get to in a minute, but some people like to fold this down as well. But I think this is manageable for me. Let's go ahead and slide that off. Something that you do need to think about is that when you have the rack on the back of the Highlander, it's going to extend the overall length of it. Not by much, but this might be useful to some of you who have a small garage or maybe find yourself parking in a tight parking spot or something like that. So I'll give you a measurement. We'll just go from the plate to the furthest point. Looks like it's going to be this frame hook. And with it like that, it's only going to add about 25.5 inches to the back of your Toyota. One of the big questions we do get asked quite a bit in regards to these hitch-mounted bike racks is if you're going to be able to get into the back of your vehicle. And the center portion folds down and allows us to do that. So there's just going to be a pin here. You can pull that out. And then this will swing down and give you enough space to open up your hatch and get a few things in and out. You know, granted, you're going to have the rack here, so you'll have to reach over a little bit, but at least it can be done. So I'll get this closed up and then show you something else here. If you want to leave the rack on the back of your car, and say you don't plan on using it for a little bit, you can actually store it into what's called like a suitcase position. So you pull all these pins out and everything folds up. So I think it looks pretty good like this. Just keeps it tight, everything compact. When you're ready to use it, you can fold these out and put your bikes on it. Or more importantly too, let's say if it's off season or you don't plan on riding for a while, kind of like what we talked about earlier. When you take this out of the car, it's really manageable. It's not a huge rack taking up a bunch of shelf space. So you can throw this in the garage and you know, it's not going to take up a bunch of your storage. So moving down here, the bike rack can work with those 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube openings like the hitch we have here today on our Highlander, but it also has the ability to work with the smaller 1.25 by 1.25 hitches. So if you happen to have a different vehicle in the household, chances are really good this will work with it too. And it is going to come included with an anti-rattle bolt. And what's going to happen is when you use that, it's going to eliminate any slop or play there in the connection point and just help keep things quiet inside of your Toyota. So give you an example on how that works. Let's say if we're going down the road, hitting some bumps, you can see that the rack is going to move with our Highlander and not on its own. This is our test course. Let's start with the Slalom. This shows side-to-side action, such as turning corners or evasive maneuvering. Then onto our alternating speed bumps. This shows twisting action, such as hitting curbs, potholes, road debris, or even uneven pavement. Last of all, the solid speed bumps. This shows up and down action, such as driving through a parking lot or parking garage, or driving in and out of a driveway. But other than that, at the end of the day, a really cost-effective way to be able to carry around a couple of the bikes and get you to and from the trails. And that'll finish up our look at of the Swagman XC2 platform style bike rack on our 2020 Toyota Highlander.